Okay. Welcome back for this another very brilliant session. We're going to go through as some what they call serious CSS in full is cascading style sheet and JavaScript. Let's go back to our Visual Studio. Mine is just here. Now, actually, it's something which I've not shown you earlier. Let me remove this. Something I had not shown you earlier. Just create a folder. I just created this folder, and what I did here, I just having inside that folder there's another folder for images. There's another folder for images. Just leave it like that. That's the folder. The folder is called lec2. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just drag this folder and put it in my VS. They couldn't open because the file was not found. Okay, now we're going to create. Actually, it has already created for me. After just dropping like that, your images you can easily now create anything and use images there. Now let's dive straight away to understanding the core concepts of CSS. As I've told you earlier, shortcut for starting, of course, to learn CSS, we need HTML skeleton. We're going to go through to our normal way of shift. You press 1, you come in exclamation mark, enter. We're already there. This we're going to say the title. This time we want to give it like let me say complex CSS and JS. Okay. Now I want to go very fast. In the body, what we're going to start with now we all know what div is from our basic HTML. Actually, I'm going to be giving some comment here. Start comment with that. I'm going to say this is maybe a nav bar. I'm going to learn how to style nav bar inside this. Actually, inside this div, I'm going to give this div a class of a header. I'm going to give it a class of header. And inside this I'm going to create an anchor tag. Anchor is going to have a hypertext reference of let's just be default. Let's just leave it like that. I'm going to give it a class of logo. Then I'm going to close it and put here company logo. I'm going to close and put the company logo. Okay. Then I'm going to come here. When I come here, what am I going to do next? I'm going to open another div. I'm going to open another div and give it a class of header right. So right now you cannot understand what I'm writing, but you should really be having the idea by now. And in this header right is going to have actually I can say, let me call it an ordered list. Let me first remove some of these spaces. Inside this unordered list, we're going to have anchor tags. These anchor tags are going to have they're going to have links. It's going to be home. Not supposed to be the side. It's going to be home, and indeed supposed to call there home. I'm going to call another anchor tag here, text markers of reference. This is going to be, let me say, services, and indeed it's going to be something like inside there we're going to put services. And the the last one. I can put there another anchor tag. What happened? Text markup reference and call it projects. And call it projects. And call it projects. And indeed inside there we're going to put call it projects. Okay, that's so far so good. So far so good. Okay. This it's close by that. Okay, now we're jumping into our styling. We're going to style. You can see how simple it's. Down this time we're going to use what we call internal styling, not inline. Let's open our style tag and we start by making the entire page to be having a margin 0. Sorry. Let's make it to have a box sizing of border box. Yeah, and from there come and give my body a margin 0, and I give it a font family Arial. Where is Arial? Let me just give this. Now we're going to header. We're calling header, that class header. I've actually told you this seems actually to be now very familiar. Now when you go to header, overflow, this is another attribute in CSS. What it's going to do, it's going to make those texts in this particular header not to over proceed into the neighborhood. So we're going to give it a background color. So all this content under in this div, the anchors, the div here, they're going to be having impact, which we're going to work on. We can give it a background of green, background color. Let's give it that. Let me give it padding over 20 pixels and 10 pixels. Actually, this is another important thing I want to explain from first principles. Padding and actually it's going to be padding. It's padding. Margin. The first, actually this one here, it's top, right, bottom, left. In case if I'm to add here and say 0 pixels, and another one is 0 pixels. This one here, it's top, padding from top, padding from right, padding from bottom, and padding from left. The same applies with margin. Get that right. Okay, now let's go and style header anchor. Now have you seen how to call the children of a particular div? You see this what I've done. This header is overall, but in this header there are anchor items. You have seen how I've called them. Now we're going to style it. What do you want to put for that? We are going want to float them left. Floating them left, that want them to be displayed going on our what? To be displayed going towards our right. Float left. That's very, very important. Actually, you should take note. You use this every time. Want to give it a color, and you give it a color of black. Want to give it text align. Want to align it at the center. At the center, text align center. This means it's going to be aligned at the center of that particular width we are going to give them. Then we will give it a padding between each anchor items. a padding is like, okay, actually let me say this is distance between each anchor items. Let me give it 12 pixels. Listen these things carefully, because this is now the real deal. This is the real programming. We give it a text decoration of none. Text decoration, we give it text decoration of none, so that it will not be underlined. Get me right there. Font size, let me give it a font size let me give it a font size of 18 pixels. That can work. Give it line height. Give it a line height of 24, 25. Let me get 25 pixels. After that, I can give it a border radius. Give it a border radius of 4 pixels. Border radius is like how sharp our corners, or let me say even the edges are. The more, if I give 13, they will be like curved. We're going to see how this is going to really come out. I think this is enough. Let's see what we have been writing and explain to you. Let's start debugging. Wow, now you have seen. This is what's called navigation bar. You are certain very few things, but you can see how it's really looking. Padding is a distance between padding. Text align center, at least somewhere here. Then floating left. Then starting from this side and going that side. But we're not yet done. Let's continue. Now we're going to where are we going? We're going, let's go to the header. Let's call header. Anchor, but that anchor which is having logo. What is this that we have just called? We have just called this thing here. It's under header. It's an anchor, and it's having a class of logo. That's how we call it. Actually, it would have been even easier if you just call it straight away to a logo, but now that's one able to see how alternative way of doing things. Let's give it a font. Let's give it a font size of 25. Font size of 25 pixels, and we give it font size of 25 pixels. And give it font weight of bold. Let's make it bigger because that's our logo, and we give it a font weight of bold. Even give it bolder. Give it a font weight of bolder. Now we want to make something. Let's before even we go, let's first see the impact of this code we have so far written. So far so good. Let's run it and see. Wow, it's looking so nice now. It's looking nice. It's really looking nice. It's looking nice. It's looking nice. So let's remove this. Okay, now what's next? Like when a person taps on this, when I move the cursor on it will change the color. How are we going to do that? We're going to call this anchor. It's actually, before you go there, first it's under header. After header, it's in the anchor, and after anchor, we're going to put a column and say what? Hover. hover is like moving a cursor on it. That means we say that inside this header there is an anchor. These anchor tags have items. When the cursor is hovered or moved over that item, is to bring this, is to change, is to effect such these changes which we're going to write here. We're going to say the background color should become, let me say, white. Give it a background color like that, and give its own color, something like blue color. Let me give it blue. This change will happen when we move cursor on top of those items. Let's run it and see. Listen, when we move cursor on top of it, the background becomes white, the color changes blue. When we move the cursor on top of it, the color, very well. So really see how we are doing. So far, so good. Now we're moving to these items like what you want to do is, we want these things to be the side, these nav items here, these ones, you want it to be here, and we'll leave this logo here alone. What are we going to do? Let's see. What we're going to do, we're going to call it header right. I think guys remember, I think it's header right, yeah. Header right is where these other items are. We've seen we separated them tactically. Header right. So that means we're going to call header right. And that is it. Header right. Header right. And we're going to float them. We're going to float them where? To the right. Towards our right. But generally, we have floated the logo to the what? To the left. Now this one we're floating to the right. Let's see the impact of what you have just put here right now. Start debugging. Wow. Very brilliant. Now what are we left with? It's not responsive. Listen, when you reduce it, it looks very ugly. But it's now so nice. When you move a cursor over it, really remember these things step by step. Don't rush here, because this is the concept which will help you to build on something which even you yourself will be proud of. Now I want this thing to be responsive in a way that when the device size is small like this, when it's in mobile phone, these items here should come and align themselves here, like in a way that it should not be floated, like it should be displayed block. Let's come and put it into writing. Listen, programming is very fun and very interesting. We're going to use what's called media queries. Please, whatever we are using here, border radius, font size, background, media queries, go and read them, because I'm trying my best to explain, but it may not be enough. Media queries, just say media, screen, and I'm supposed to use this yet. I'm supposed to say media, and I'm supposed to open a curly brace and say maximum width. Should be 600 pixels. Then what will happen when the width is less than 600 pixels? What should it do? It should go to header. It should go to a class with a header, and that class there are anchor items. What should it do to these anchor items? It should float them none. It should not float them. They should remain in line, and it should be displayed. Display block. Display block means that it's going to be displayed starting from the margin. It's not going to be centered or it's not going to be floated. It's going to be displayed from the margin. And where should we align? Text align. We should align this, as we see that these anchor items, they are text. We should align them to the left. Align them to our left. We should align them to our left. That's still not enough. Then what should happen to our header right? Those particular items. This is general. Now what should happen to these particular 3 items? Where are these items? What should happen to these items here? These items here. We call them the header right. The header right. What should happen to them? We put there header right. Header right. What should happen to them? Is to float them none. They should not be floated. At first we have floated them to the what? To the right. But we are going to float them none when the device size is less than when the device size is less than 600 pixels. Wow, this is very, 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 very nice. I think that is it. Let's run and see. Start debugging. Wow, it's here. You hover, it changes. Now let's try to check its responsiveness. Let's try to increase on its size. Have you seen? When the device size becomes less than 600 pixels, what happens? These items become aligned. They become non-floated. And they're displayed what? They're displayed block. They're displayed block. They're not floated, and floating, text aligning, and display. Very, very, very important. Very, very important. As you have seen, this is a perfect navigation bar from scratch. It's a very perfect navigation bar from scratch. So what next are we left with? I want us to go to something which is another very important aspect. That's done. Let's come back to our HTML. And I write some comment here. Now I write some comment here. Let me say this is going to be our services. It's going to be our services section. The services section, actually, as I've told earlier, for it to be organized, you can even search this is section. And this section is having ID of services. Yeah. Now with time, actually, let me give it a class of services. With time, you understand why we are doing this, for linking it. Let me open this. Wow, okay. Inside this services, how do you want? Now, just like when you're creating a website, now what do I want? I want columns. I want columns to sit here. I want one column here, another column here, another column here. I want 3 of them, and this will be like in form of a card, and where I can put an image and give it some label. Okay, let's dive into that. Okay, as you know, important which will help us here is a div. It's a div. Inside that div, what am I going to do? I'm going to give it this div, this first div which I'm going to open here. I'm going to give it a class of services as well. I'm going to give it a class of services, and I'm going to also give it ID, and I'm not going to give it ID. The ID for section is enough. So what else I'm going to do? I want something big here. My header 1 is going to be here. We have talked about header 1 is going to be very bold text. Services. It's going to be services provided by our company, by our company. So nice, so nice, so nice. So this text is going to be appear in the middle, and it's going to appear very bold actually. Then below here I want some paragraph, just something small. Below are the services do provide. Okay, after that, what am I going to do? I'm now going in the process of creating these columns. They are columns, but when you do this, when they are going to be columns, but also in a row form. So I'm going to open another div. It's going to have the div. It's going to have a class of. It's going to have a class of row. And after having a class of row, I'll close that. Inside it, I'm going to put another div. Listen carefully. The class of column. The class of column. Inside column, I'm going to put another div. The class of card. The class of card. It's going to be it's not going to be a normal. It's not going to be a normal columns you see. It's going to be a card, a multi-purpose one. Remember, you can create this. You can easily create other, actually, an e-commerce website, front end for e-commerce website. Now, what we're going to do, I want some label to appear up there. Let me give it header 2. Let me say this is a solar installation. Let me say this is solar installations. Yeah. Okay. After this, I'm going to open another div here. Now this div, I'm going to give it a class of. Let me open it here. Give it a class. Let me give it a class of card as well. Okay. Just be patient, and we see how this is going to really work out very well. And now, after this div, inside this div, I'm going to put image. I'm going to insert my image there. SRC is going to be in images. I'm going to put there, this is S3. I've already put that folder, the folder of images in there. Actually, let me style this image from inline. Here. Let me give it a width. Of 100%. Get me right, 100% means going to take 100% of the width of the device. It's different from 100 pixels. Then I give it a height of 350. I give it a height of 350. I give it a height of 350 pixels. Okay. Then after that, I want some text to appear below this image. What am I going to do? I'm going to give now header 3. I'm going to put there let me say quality solar installations. Quality solar installations. Yeah, that is it. Now after that, I want something like maybe a price tag. Can put a paragraph, and then maybe say okay, you want it to multi-purpose. Maybe let me say a price tag for if you wanted to make it for some other different purposes. Let me say not for services or for e-commerce and so on. And here I want something like a button can put it in a, again, open a button tag, and inside this button, add to cart. Wow. It's a long way, but yeah. Now want to have similar of this from what? From the column. What we're going to do, we just go and come and copy this. Just come and copy this, because one like several of them to replicate them. One like several of them to copy it. Wow. After copying it, you create a space there and paste again here. After this, I'm going to copy it and paste here. Okay. These three, I think these three, they are going to be enough. Now let's dive into our CSS. Even in our CSS here, in CSS, how we write comment is different. Just put this and put a star and just let me say this is services and cards. And I just close with that, and that's how they write comment in CSS. Okay, now we're going to style this. What are we going to start with? We're going to start with the wow. I'm going to start with a class name services, and under the services we had a paragraph. We want it to appear. We want to style it. We want to text align. We want to align this at the center. What are we aligning at the center? This paragraph here, we want to align at the center, and actually multiple selection is going to happen here. Even let me say, even our header one, has to appear at the center with give it a color of black. I like black. Yeah, I think that's enough. Now we're going to something very important. Let me actually write a comment to it. We want to float those columns side by side. Let me even go here and say float the columns side by side. Wow. We have to come here and start straight away. We are going to call the class of column. What are we going to do? The class of column. We're going to float it left. We're going to just float it to the left. As simple as that. If I've understood the nav bar, you can easily understand this. I'm going to give it a width of, there are 3. Now, when you divide 100% by 3, you get roughly 33. So we're going to give it a width of 33%. This is very, very important mathematics here. This device here, we're having 100%, but we want 3 columns to sit here, another one in the middle here, another one here. So each of them has to take the place, this place equally. So what you're going to do, 100% divided by 3. That means roughly is going to be 33. Actually, let me even put 33.3%. very important attribute and very important concept you should not forget. And going to give it a padding, going to give it a padding of from top. I'm going to give it a padding of 0. Then from right, I'm going to give it a padding of 10 pixels. That's going to be fair enough. Now let me come and style the row dot row. Open it. Going to give it a margin. I'm going to give it a margin. I'm going to give it a margin from top 0. From right, I'm going to give it a negative -5. I'm going to give it a -5 pixels. As I've told you, margins and paddings, the first one is from top, second one is from right, the third one is from bottom, and the fourth one is from left. I'm giving it that, and that's going to be enough. Let me give it, let me call a row after. That's after when it has been displayed. I want this content to be, I want the content to be displayed inline. Going to open that. After that, I'm going to display it in form of a table. Display. Where is table? Display form of a table, and I want to clear both some of these attributes. Now you get them with time. Now we have to go to very important attribute of media queries. Now, media queries, I've already shown you how it happens the other side. We want like when the size, the device size reduces, like for a mobile size, like this one, these columns to sit here, another one under the another one under the other. We don't want them to sit here and here and here. The device width is very small. Now let's write that media query for it. Say media screen, and then you open that maximum width 600 pixels, and you come and open. It's part of you. These things just needs practice. With practice, it becomes very simple. Very simple. Where was this thing coming from? Okay, media and screen. There's supposed to be some small space here. Maximum width 600 pixels. Now inside that I can call dot columns. Now when I want these columns, the width to be 100% when the device width is less than 600 pixels. I want it to be, I want the length of the column not to be 33.3%, but this time I want it to be 100% to take the entire small width of that device. Wow, that's a perfect explanation for that. And I want it to be display block, starting from the margin. Very important aspect here is to learn and really repeat it. And margin, I want margin bottom to be 20. I want margin from the bottom. I want margin from bottom to be 20. I want it to be 20 pixels. And this still not the end. I want this card. I want this card to, I want to style the card in a way that its images, like the background looks very well. Let me call it card. It's not inside the media queries. See, look very well this time around. The card, I want to give it a box shadow. A box. Actually, I put box shadow. I want to give it a box shadow over 4 0 box 0 4 0 4 8 8 and give it RGB. The opacity will be 0 0. Actually, it should be having commas here. 0 0 0. You can give it 0 0. These are 3, and that was 0.2. 0.2. And I want to give it a padding. I want to give it a padding of 10. Distance between each of the cards is supposed to be 10. That this box shadow is, don't worry, this is in the background, the opacity of the background, and I want to give it a background of I want to give it a background color of beige. Let me hope that will not look bad. Yeah. And I want this card. There's a button we are putting the card, so we are going to call it card. Actually, I'll put this inside the tag for the other one here, just not to mix it. Supposed to call it independently card. The card. Let me call it card button. That card button, when a person puts a cursor over it, I want it to change color. The background supposed to the background color should become this weird color here. Wow. Now let's see. I've taken time, and we see the output of what we have been doing. Okay. This has not been affected. Let's come here and see where the problem is. Services. Then we should leave this for that alone, and let's first put that aside. And I think also our media query is also having some issue. The media query also is having some issue, because it's supposed to not display it like that. Okay. In the box shadow, video on screen, maximum width. Okay. All right. Let's run it and see. Wow, this one has been put at the center. Now remaining with the header one. This header one, we can go and style it inline. This header one can just come here and put style equals to text align. We want to put center. Okay, text align center. Okay. Wow. This is so good. This is so good. This output is working. Have you seen when the cursor moves over it, it changes? Distance between it is working. I want to see whether this is the only thing which is not affecting. It's not really, it hasn't been affected well. media queries for these cards. Okay, want to first to see what problem went wrong here in the media queries. In the media queries, media.column. Let me see whether it has really been called as column. Not 100. The problem is here I put 100 pixels instead of 100%. See, that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. And good enough, I've seen it. And now let's see. I've had seen it. Wow. It's now there. It's now back. Wow. I want when the device size is above 600 pixels, it should be side by side. When it's less than 600 pixels, when there's neither 600 pixels like that, these columns to be over another, then the other ones will be under the other. Very important. Actually, this thing which you have learned can help you to create what they call e-commerce website. Put price tag here, add to the tag, you put description, you put other things. Wow, this is so nice. Now very fast, let me hope you have probably understood this, how to create the navbar, how to come up with these columns here very well. Now very fast, we're going to what's called a basic JavaScript. This basic JavaScript, actually, it may not be very important now, because JavaScript, if you want to not learn the largest percentage of it, it's for back end. And normally it's just like it's like CSS. You can put it external here. This file can be script, and you put relationship, and you put relationship. The relationship is going to be script, and of course you identify its location. But these few JavaScript codes which we're going to be going through, actually we may not be needed to run them from inside here. Okay, now in basic JavaScript, which I want to go through, I think it's okay. Sorry. The basic JavaScript, you're going to cover it in the next. This video is already big enough for only these two items, because these are fundamentals and the cores of web development. Understand it from first principles. Understand it, and have it at your fingertips, and you'll be a very good developer. How to style these things, how to organize your codes, how to really if you can really come up with something like this from today's lecture, I will be very glad. Something like this with hover and it changes, something which is very responsive, something which you can really something very great. So really enough, the basic JavaScript, you're going to cover it in the next, when we are starting the structure, or a simple structure of website, and from there we'll be going to complete our front end of website. Now in the simple structure, we're going to look at how to come up with the contact form, how to come up with the images, styling images, portfolio, testimonials, and each and other things. Thank you very much. My name is John, a front-end developer. By the way, I'm self-taught front-end developer, learned since 2018. Thank you very much. Have a good day.